Humanity and the earth will restore itself and take back its power. Welcome to this week's World Affairs Truth Report, number 7. If you're tuning in for the first time, I'm Helen Jane Rose, and I'll be reading the Truth Report verbatim from what I've written through automatic writing. I'm a channel, an energy healer, a spiritual guide, and an author, and I've written a number of books. One of those, The Coming Times, is how these World Affairs Truth Reports came to be. So they're an offshoot, if you like. And I'll be joined, so I'll read the reports verbatim, and then I'll be joined by my lovely partner Jed, who will come and join me and unpack the message and ground it and bring his wisdom. He's a acupuncturist, craniosacral therapist, and a very good energy healer. And yes, together we will be bringing you this week's World Affairs Truth Report. If you'd prefer to read the report rather than listen, you'll find the transcripts at www.thecomingtimes.org, and you'll find them there under the tab World Affairs Truth Reports, and then you can read the actual transcript. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about how The Coming Times came to be in an interview with Jed and myself, you can find that here on our YouTube channel, The Coming Times Unpacked. Okay, so I would like to read to you this week's World Affairs Truth Report from the Divine Council, written through automatic writing. Welcome, beautiful souls, to this week's World Affairs Truth Report. As chaos continues on the world stage, and it seems like no end is in sight for all that is going on, the complexities, the propaganda, the system that is so set on bringing itself into complete degradation. We ask, can you feel a shift that is starting to happen? It might be subtle at the moment, but can you feel it starting to stir? Can you feel a hope in the air? A knowing amongst some that the final days have come? Not in a doom and gloom way, but in a way that has always been foretold, that humanity and the earth would restore itself and take back its power. Take back its rightful place as a planet and its people that respect the earth and those living on it. Are you feeling the cries of a humanity who wants change, who no longer believes what they're being told as truth? Are you seeing cracks in the system as more and more shout for accountability and disillusion over what is taking place on the world stage? We want to take you inwards, from away from the world stage, to you and what is going on within you. Can you take a moment with us to shift your awareness from the external and all that is going on around you to what is going on within you? We ask you, how are you feeling amongst all the chaos that's happening in the external? Where are you at? Just pause for a moment and check in with yourself. Are you feeling angry? Do you feel sadness? Are you wishing for everything to just stop and the world become the peaceful place you wish it to be? Light warriors, it's time to talk. but not from an angry, trauma-filled way. Yet, if you do feel angry, your emotions are of course valid, as anger nearly always leads to action. Yet we would advise at this time to seek assistance in tracing back the root cause to help you heal. There's a difference between feeling like you want to make a stand against what's happening on the world stage and being triggered by unhealed emotional issues. One keeps you stuck in lower consciousness whilst the other frees you. You see, anger won't have a rightful place in the war that's raging across the planet. Anger will only fuel the fire. Remember, the microcosm affects the macrocosm. How can you use your light, your knowing of the soul self, to be an active agent of change? The true new leaders aren't angry in any way. They are at peace within themselves and therefore have an understanding at a deep level of how the planet has come to where it is currently at. Many will rise out of the ashes physically and metaphorically to be examples of unconditional love in a way that will be surprising to many. Their voices are the ones that are needed now. Stories of humanity helping humanity. Those who are willing to step out as agents of oneness, of unification, not more divide and hate. It is ill thought out for anyone to truly claim to know what's going on, for there are so many layers. But one thing is for sure, it will be a while before peace is restored. And so we encourage everyone listening or reading this report to dig deep within themselves and feel into where you are at odds with what is going on and how you are honestly going about your day as a result of it. Are you glued to the alternative news, accepting what you are hearing and reading as read? Are you becoming self-righteous in your beliefs of what's going on? Are you more determined than ever to be the vessel of peace and unconditional love that you came here to be the example of, having worked hard to remember who you are and why your light is so important now? If you were to sit each day taking half an hour out away from the world and meditating on your desire to connect more strongly with your soul self, you would be doing more for the world than you can imagine. The consciousness of the soul self needs to strengthen now. What can you do? There are so many ways, and one we would suggest is a short intention that we included in the Coming Times book. It's called Surrender to Your Soul Morning Intention and can be found for free here. In the days ahead, we will be encouraging our messenger, our channel, to bring live channelings through as a means of helping you to heal and to assist you in strengthening your connection to the true you. As these reports become the multi-dimensional transmissions that we wish them to be. And so for something a little different in this week's report, so I've been asked to close my eyes and for a moment connect into the energy and frequency of Saint Germain. I think most people listening to this will be familiar. If not, maybe take a few moments to maybe read up on Ascended Masters. I'm told that he's a member of the Divine Council, as many of the Ascended Masters and Archangels are. Their consciousness, I feel like it all blends together. And I've been practicing with Saint Germain for a long time, but I've never brought through any of his messages live in this way. I have been practicing in the car, but never in this way. So I'm just going to close my eyes and just see what comes through. And it may be nothing. It might just be that the frequency he's bringing through, perhaps you'll feel. Okay. Welcome. 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 I come in this moment and meet you in this moment of now. Perhaps you feel the energy shift between me and you. It is possible to tangibly feel a connection with the higher realms, if you like, for you are as multi-dimensional as we are. In fact, many of you, many of you are us in physical form, for we have all worked together in many different dimensions, you might say. And if you are finding this hard to track and finding this very strange, welcome. Welcome to perhaps a new way, you might say, of receiving information for your higher self, receiving an activation, if you like, a remembering of who you are in a different dimension, in a dimension that cannot fathom what takes place in the lower realms, if you like. And if it was possible for us to take the lead, to stand firm in how we see the earth going, we would have made changes many eons ago. Yet we can't take this role, or we would. For the earth is, if you like, a learning ground, a school for souls to learn through adversity, if you like, to understand that they have choices and that there is always a choice to come back to who they really are, to come back to love, to come back to the truth of their soul self. And in this moment, my words are irrelevant. What is important is you feel that spark from within yourself. You feel that divine spark, that frequency that I am emanating to you now. I come in and around you in this moment. There is no such thing as time and space. And if you in this moment open consciously to connect with my frequency, you will feel a shift within yourself. I ask you to trust that it is possible for us to communicate in this way across time and space. And I wish to raise the energy for a moment. I wish to ask you in this moment, perhaps no one is looking or perhaps someone is, but I ask you in this moment to allow yourself to shake. Allow yourself to shake your body in whichever way feels right for you. And if in this moment it feels perhaps not comfortable for you to do so, then wait until it is. But I ask you, after this transmission, I ask you to shake, to move your hands, to move your legs, to move your head. And I ask you to say, I open to the frequency of joy. I open to play. I give myself permission to be an agent of joy, of play, in gratitude and love. For in doing so, I will help this planet to change. For if I allow myself to stay stuck in the drudgery of what the lower dimensions are trying to pull me into, I am of this surface. And I ask you to just feel for a moment how different it feels to feel joy. And perhaps in this moment, it is the absolute opposite to how you are really feeling. Perhaps you are feeling sadness. Perhaps something has happened that has knocked you off your feet and you are finding it hard to find your balance. And I say, dear one, I wrap you in my golden flame of transmutation. Visualize in your heart in this moment, in the center of your chest, a small golden flame. Visualize as best as you can. And visualize that flame building, expanding until it surrounds the whole of you. And the flame becomes so much bigger than you. That frequency is helping to lift you. Even momentarily, this will help you. And this is where I leave today. Thank you for your time, for your connection, and your desire, in whichever way is right for you, to be a vessel of higher consciousness that the planet so needs of you now. Okay, I'm Helen Jane Rose, bringing you messages and guidance from the Divine Council and Saint Germain. And I'm now going to shuffle over for Jed to come and join me.
Well, that was a unexpected, very lovely surprise. And I can vouch for its authenticity because Helen got a message this morning when she was preparing for the usual written transmission that they wanted her to do this live. Well, certainly live in front of me, recorded for you. But yeah, very special, and I think it's a journey, a pathway that's being prepared for Helen and her channel, and whoever and whatever is coming through with the divine intelligence, wisdom. So yeah, amazing. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling weird. I want to cry. It's really weird. Such a weird feeling. Anyway, not in a bad way. And like I feel like.
Tears are welcome. That's positive emotion. So yeah, just thank you.
I just feel like I'm going like that. Yeah.
Well, we can rest a minute.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, so Saint Germain, I think, continued in the live form a lot of what was being said in the written form, and the topics, the main ones for me, were about feeling rather than thinking, acknowledging how you feel, taking responsibility for how you feel.
Let's pop that on.
And choices again, we've spoken about this in all of the reports so far. And yeah, so the chaos continues on the world stage. We're in the thick of it now, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's likely to get a lot worse, but not to be fearful about that. But this presents the opportunity for everyone to start feeling that there's nowhere to go. You've got to look at this, you've got to acknowledge it, but not to get drawn into the drama of it. But they're asking us to go a little bit deeper with this. And for me, I've spoken a lot to my clients about this year, certainly from January onwards, that it feels like there's two lanes at the moment. And one which is a lane that we're all very familiar with, and one that's being played out, on the world stage, and seemingly, no end to it, and difficulty, and everything's problematic and challenging. But at the same time, there's this other lane opening to us where I'm asking people, and I'm asking myself, are you also feeling a sense of positivity and peace? And pretty much everyone has said yes. They can't explain it. It's something really strange that is sat amongst, in and around, underneath everything else that's going on, where you just feel okay, and that there's something much greater going on that we're stepping into. And this is the new reality that's weaving its way into the existing one, and for me will eventually become the reality and will take over. And so it's asking, are we feeling, is it starting to stir within us, and are you noticing it? And for me, yes. I'm sure for Helen, and definitely people I've spoken to are saying the same, so I imagine the world would reflect the same. And so it's important to notice how you're feeling about it and be honest with it. And then some days you might feel really angry and upset and despondent, and other days you feel okay. So it's fine. That it's waves. There are waves of heaviness, waves of lightness, until all of this flushes out. It suggests that humanity, that the earth would restore itself and take its power back. And it's suggesting here that humanity, that the earth rather is a conscious being. And it would seem true. There's so much activity in terms of physical activity on the planet now, seismic activity, volcanic activity, that is unheard of in modern day records. There's lots of websites to look at. My preference would be Stefan Burns. He seems to be the font of all knowledge and comes at it from lots of different angles. But you get clear scientific evidence with a spiritual slant on it. But there's a lot going on, and the cracks. So the Earth is responding to the increased solar energy. The Earth's being bombarded with solar energy right now, more than it's ever had to deal with in its existence. And that is then received as fuel for the Earth. And so she's going through housekeeping, she's cleaning as well, she's healing. And the energy, the solar energy, is being used to, clean house in terms of opening up fissures on the planet, volcanoes, volcanic eruptions. Heat is emitting, chemicals and biology. It's all being released from the Earth that's had to hold the energy of humanity. She's held all our information. She's held all our misbehaviors and everything from the time we've been here. And now she's letting go. She's being given permission to release. And so as she creates these fissures, these cracks, the light comes in and fills the gap. And by such, she becomes lighter. She's becoming a light being, releasing the heaviness that we've discharged. And the same for us. If we allow the light into our cracks, the light will take hold and we'll become lighter. So it's a seemingly obvious perspective on it. And it's saying, are you seeing the cracks in the system as more and more shout for accountability and dissolution over what is taking place on the world stage? So cracks appearing everywhere. Cracks appearing in systems, in people's behaviour, in politics, in religion, in everything. The cracks are appearing. So it's like, well, what do you want to put in them? What do you want to replace that was there? You don't want to pour in the same old energy and the same old problems and heaviness and density. So be prepared. When the cracks open, opportunities come in, have a plan in order to fill those cracks up. It's asking, how are you feeling amongst the chaos? So again, it's pushing this feeling sensation. It's really a strong message in this one. Where are you at? Pause for a moment and check in with yourself. Are you feeling angry? Do you feel sadness? Are you wishing for everything to just stop and the world to become the peaceful place you wish it to be? Well, that would be nice, but we've got our own healing to do as well. And it's asking us to discern between an in-the-moment sadness or an in-the-moment anger at something you see, which is absolutely valid, versus something that's coming from a deeper and more traumatic place. If it's really triggering and if it's repeat, if it's sustainable, the chances are it's coming from a much deeper wound, a child wound, and they're asking us to take responsibility for that. And now if you've been on any kind of healing journey, you're likely to be quite adept at clearing these things on yourself, and that's just a case of acknowledging them, sitting with them, tracking them back to their origin if you can. It's not absolutely necessary, but it's helpful to put some context around where these things have come from. And also to make sure that, there's no blame in this. I mean, we're quite happy to blame the parents for everything because probably it's their fault. But, it was their parents' fault and their parents' fault. So where do we stop? So it stops with you. And it's your responsibility for whatever choice you take in response to these triggers. And, if you're really struggling with this, I mentioned this last week, seek out help. Find a therapist that works for you in whatever shape or form. But most of it, you can deal with yourself through awareness. And then the responsibility of conscious choice. And also the macrocosm is a reflection of the microcosm, and the microcosm being the trauma within you in some ways. and how you feel in relation to that. And so it's acknowledging your actions and how they reflect or realize into the world. And you can see that in real time. There's no hiding away from it. It's there in front of you. And also balance is, slightly referred to here because, reflecting on your position when you see a news report or whether you hear a story or some idea of what's happening in the world, does it sit heavy with you? Is your anger creating a heavier perspective on it? Because when you do, it has to be balanced in another way, so you'll create an opportunity for heaviness on the other side of the spectrum. So we want to find some cracks in our own being and allowing that energy that's here, the solar energy, allowing in the energy from the earth that's growing in a high dimensional way, and allow that into your cracks to make yourself lighter, to become lighter. They go on to talk about true leaders. They aren't angry in any way. They're at peace with themselves and therefore have an understanding at a deep level of how the planet has come to where it is. Listen to the narrative of new voices. They're very heartfelt. They refer to emotion. And they're acknowledging the sadness of the state of affairs at the moment. But they're also offering solutions. They might be very subtle or they might be significant. But their perspectives are not neutral. They're not inane. They're showing you a way. And there's lots of them out there. They're popping up in lots of different places. And I'd say to you, if you haven't seen them or you can't find them, then there's something deeper that's inside of you that requires some more attention, so that those people, the new voices, you can meet them on their vibration. It says many will rise out of the ashes physically and metaphorically to be examples of unconditional love in a way that will surprise many. Their voices are the ones that are needed now. That there used to be a newspaper called Positive News, and I used to sit in a coffee shop on the Portobello Road, but the stack would never, and this is going back 10 years now, maybe a bit longer, the stack never changed in the coffee shop. No one took the paper, and I could never understand it. It's like they just didn't see it, they completely ignored it. And Positive News, it's just not been of interest up until now, because people have been craving drama and emotional challenges, in order to bring up their own traumas to heal. But I feel that people are ready now for positive news stories. There's a space for them rising, and people are going to be craving them. There's going to be so much desire for positive news. It's already starting. So, I encourage you, if you've got positive news, to share it. Start your own YouTube channel or whatever social media. Even if you're just passing on other people's information, just good news stories, start putting them out there. The conscious algorithm will start to respond to it, because I imagine consciousness is some form of algorithm in some way that is reflecting how we are and what we're aligned with and what we desire. It is ill thought out for anyone to truly claim to know what's going on, for there are so many layers, but one thing for sure, it will be a while before peace is restored. Even if there was cessation of all the wars on the planet right now, complete cessation, finished, there would still be downstream traumatic effects for all the people involved for decades, generations, at least 2 generations. And so, how can we help them? Well, you can help them by changing your story and then changing the way you live, and changing the way we behave with the earth and with each other. And those people that are, you know, still in a state of anger and even hatred, and rightly so for many reasons, but also affected by trauma, that they will need something and someone to look at, to go, oh, there's a different way. And so you can lead them out of their difficulty, their challenges. And the sooner we do that, the better. So start now. Start creating the new earth right now. And then we'll be prepared for when these wars and fissures opening and cracks appearing, when all of that, you know, starts to rest, and it will do, then we can lead those most affected into a brighter place far more quickly. And so they're encouraging everyone listening or reading the report to dig deep within themselves, to feel where you're at odds and what's going on, and how you are honestly going about your day. You know, it's quite a lot of work to consciously and constantly look at yourself, but it's required. Hard work is required, but it, you know, it doesn't have to take long, but it's a dedication to do it at least once a day. And just, you know, and if you get embroiled or caught up in some moment of, you know, anger or anxiety or something, just take the time to reflect. What's my role in it? And be determined to be the change, to be that vessel of light, to be the vessel of love, and, you know, become the new earth and become the new human. We're constantly being, you know, given these choices, and there's going to be a lot more choices to come. So get prepared and get in a rhythm of how you want your day to be. And it can start with gratitude for everything and everyone you have in your life, for health, for emerging health, and gratitude for awareness, gratitude for the opportunity to make choices and to be here at this time of significant change. And so, you know, I urge you to look at yourself and be honest with yourself, and things will start to move and change very, very quickly and positively, and we'll be ready to, you know, help everyone else when the dust settles. So thank you, Helen. Thank you, Saint Germain, for joining us.
Thank you.
Are you back with us now?
Yeah, that was a strange one today. Just when I think of it, the surrender to your soul morning intention that's referred to in the report, it's on this YouTube channel. If you just kind of scroll down from the videos, you'll see it's called Surrender to Your Soul Morning Intention. It's also under free resources in the website, in the Coming Times website. So just wanted to say that if you did want to listen to it. I've used it myself for quite a long time, and it really did help me. So I hope it helps you too.
So thank you for listening, and hopefully you'll join us next week for number 8. And please like and subscribe. And yeah, we wish you lots of love, and see you in the near future.
Bye.
Bye.